What up, Lorcana community? This is Jake with Team Snuggly Duckling, and we have another Infinity Duck tech for you. Um, Back to back, if I have to say, back to back, which is so impressive, so impressive. Just to say that a deck is one of the best in the format, and just to prove it 2 times in a row, Garrett. Today, as you see, I have Garrett
Hello.
Martin from our team, and he is killing it in the Infinity format right now. We're going to kind of cover a little bit of his gameplays, why he chose what he chose for his deck, what changed between this set and last set, and a little bit of his coverage of what he played against in the Richmond Infinity Spectacular. I think that's what they called it, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so. Yeah, this Sunday spectacular event. It's pretty
But
fun.
yeah.
Obviously, the main event didn't go as well as we hoped, but we got to play Infinity, which is a way better format. At least I
Hell
think so.
yeah.
But and it was a blast. The DLC Richmond was a really good time. We had some really good times. We had 2
Yeah.
huge Airbnbs. Everybody was there.
Yeah.
It was a blast. But
Yeah, it was. It
yeah, I got
was.
to play some of my favorite cards again. Green purple is my favorite color combo. In core and in Infinity, it's just always a good time to sit down and shift Diablo on turn 2. So
Yeah, I know the
I love
feeling.
it.
I played in the Infinity event with your deck, and I'll just say this: as a person that didn't practice at all or didn't really even think about it, I went 5-2 with it. So if
Not bad.
like,
The deck's really strong.
yeah, it is. It really is. It's probably it's. I want to say it is the best, but I don't want to curse it. I don't want to curse it because we still
Right?
got 2 more formats
Yeah,
before the Infinity event. But I hope it stays true and stays strong. Let's go take a look at your deck list and see what changes you made, and let's talk about those
for sure.
changes. But yeah, I'm glad you had a blast in Richmond. I feel like the
Yeah, it
whole
was a great
team had a
time.
really good time.
Yeah,
It,
the
it
vibes
was
were good.
definitely awesome cheering on the homies and playing in these events and the side events. It was a great time. Richmond
For
was a
sure.
blast. Shout out to the judges again. I did it in the last video. They do so much work at these DLCs. They need all the appreciation they can get because they deal with such baloney sauce
Dude,
stuff.
yeah,
So
it can be a lot.
yeah. But go ahead, Garrett.
Yeah, so basically it's pretty much the same list that I ran at Milwaukee in the side event, except for two changes. In Milwaukee, we ran Dumbo in the Milwaukee side event, and we only played 2 copies. That card's really strong and really important for the item matchups. Honestly, it's just really important in all the matchups now, to be honest. It's a 3/3, it has evasive, it fits into the game plan really well, and it just, like, is another card draw engine. So now we have Diablo, Dumbo, and Prince John. So we have 3 different card draw engines that can attack from different angles, which is really
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
So which is really cool. So I was only playing 2, but we upped it to 3. It's so good against the red-blue decks. It's a 3/3, so it doesn't get wiped by Sisu and by Brawl, and it can just solo those decks. And then the other addition is from their most recent set, Whispers in the Well, and we played a copy of Cheshire Cat. And that card has been so good in the core format that I figured it was probably good enough just like as a one of in the Infinity deck. We played one. Honestly, I'd probably play a second one. I think that
Yeah.
card's kind of nuts.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this is one of like this card just it puts people in the abyss, especially
Yeah.
against the Ambersteel aggro deck, which is
Yeah.
still the most popular deck in the format.
Hmm.
Ambersteel's like everybody's favorite colors. I know the majority of people love Ambersteel in some way, whether that's songs or aggro or mid range. So this card being a 3 cost, 3/4, and inkable, that also does more stuff. It's everything you want it to be. It's inkable, it's overcosted, and then it is a mana sink, which is really, really, really crazy.
Yeah.
So it's and that card and Dumbo are the 2 additions to the deck that are just insane. And I would probably play a second Cheshire Cat after the event and take Cricky's aggro card. It's really just there for Ambersteel aggro. You can let your board get pretty wide. You can let their board get pretty wide, and then you slam down a Cricky to come back into the game. Honestly,
Yeah.
you don't need that anymore. Cheshire Cat just dominates the board.
Yeah.
So those are pretty much the changes that we did, and I'm excited for the next set. We have an Infinity DLC coming up in May. And we're actually gonna get 2 more sets before that DLC, so that's gonna be really fun.
Yeah.
So we're hoping to see a couple more green purple cards, but for now, like, the deck's really solid. It doesn't have any, like, unwinnable matchups at all, to be honest, and it does have some really good matchups that are really popular in the current format. So
Yeah. Some people would say like the worst matchup would be like a blue steel matchup being probably the second most popular played deck in the format. How do you go about tackling blue steel with like something like a list like this?
so definitely the format has changed a little bit. Like, personally, like set 9, like at Milwaukee, I played against a couple blue steel players, and it wasn't that bad. The format, they did not have Ink Runner. Oh, that's one of the new cards from the newest set, from set 10, is Ink Runner, and it's a 2-cost item that when you play it, you draw a card, and then you can tap it to give one of your characters alert. And so that's pretty tough for our evasive deck. So previously, blue steel was one of our best matchups, and now it has gotten a slightly worse because of that. So you have to be a little bit more patient with your Diablos now against the blue steel, and you still just want to set up that card advantage engine and Prince John them. So like, Diablo is really good still in that matchup, especially if you know, like, turn 1 Diablo, turn 2 Ursula, snipe a song, shift Diablo, and then set up Prince John and a sudden chill into like a chip. And so you can still keep drawing your cards, keeping your hand full and finding answers, and then keeping the cards low. Like, finding
Yeah.
the wrong lever for their Haram is really good, or a crab, so you can take out their Haram once they turn it sideways. Keeping them
Hmm.
down on card advantage while keeping your hand full is really good. So the discard plan is game plan number 1. Diablo's not as important. It wasn't as important before Ink Runner, and now it's even less important because of Ink Runner. Prince John is like the card you want. Um, and sometimes they can get a little aggressive, especially if they bell and they Scrooge and miss something. They're playing a bunch of free cards, and they have so many songs that your sudden chills and your chips are really big,
Yeah.
and your pull levers, because you can discard a card or pull a lever. So that's our game plan. We really just want to make them get low on cards. If they miss Haram early too, that's really nice. But you really want Ursula on turn 2, and you want Prince John on turn 3. Ursula, snipe a song, discard something. Prince John into like a chip sudden chill turn, and
Yeah.
just like work through their resources, because no matter what, even if they have an Ink Runner and they can start killing your evasives, uh if you can keep them low on cards and you can get your Prince John engine going, it doesn't really matter too much, and they'll be too far behind. If they're stuck on 4, 5 ink and they have 0 cards in hand, they'll be having to like ink for turn and then hope they can top deck a Tamatoa. You're really
Yeah.
just trying to play the discard plan, and that's the goal. And you can tempo them out, right? So find a genie, find an evasive, and then discard them and start questing,
Question
so
of
that
the fate.
while they're trying to get back into the game, you're putting lore pressure on them. So it's kind of like a tempo deck. It's kind of like a discard tempo deck. You kind of set up a little bit of a board, then throw some discard spells at them, and then try to quest out before they can come back and get back in the game. And we don't talk about Bruno, which is really helpful in those situations. When you like slam a genie or a couple other characters are on board, and then like they play a Scrooge for free or a Tamatoa, and then you just bounce it back to hand or wrong lever something, just so you can
Yeah.
start questing out.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
so you can definitely play through Ink Runner. Ink Runner's just tough because if you're just willy nilly into their turn 1 bell, that they can just eat your Diablo. And so you can still kind of play through that, and you can bait them into hopefully that they're I don't know what that was. My phone just started playing music. Um but you can kind of bait them, and you have crabs and stuff, turn something sideways. Though they might quest with a bell, and you can crab your Ursula and get it. And getting crab on the field is actually not bad either. Like, don't be afraid to just play your crab into it if like you're in this weird stalemate. And
Hmm.
then you can use crab to boost some things later, or it's just that's like one of your questers that you can get on the board and start turning sideways. You don't really care if it gets killed in
If
that
it
matchup, because it's not super
right.
useful. But
Right.
yeah, that matchup got a little worse with the new set, but it's still great because our main primary game plan hasn't changed at all. Like, if you just set up your Prince Kajan and discard, the Ink Runner thing still doesn't matter. Because if you get ahead on resources and could like get rid of their hand, they're gonna have a really hard time answering your evasives if they don't have a hand. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there was a couple of games for sure that I played a lot of Ambersteel, like you said. Half the format felt like
Yeah,
Ambersteel.
yeah.
The cat was just eating them up. Like if I
Mm-hmm.
got cat down and it stuck without like a strength killing it or something like that, oh my gosh, the thing would just eat up the field. So
Yeah,
yeah,
like
I think playing 2 would probably be,
yeah.
if the meta's gonna stay the same,
Mm-hmm.
it'd probably be best.
Yep. If the meta's gonna stay the same, that's all I would change. I would change the Cricky to a second Cheshire Cat, and that just solidifies that matchup even more. That is one of your favorite matchups, probably. It's probably the matchup you want to see every round. Is some version of Ambersteel. You're playing discard, so you can discard their Doc or their Rapunzel or their Whole New World. You're playing Ursula, so you can. They have the aggro decks sometimes play 8 to 10 songs. Some people play Zeus, some people don't. But that's the most popular deck, and people are still playing a ton of it. So coming from Milwaukee, where there was so much blue steel with all the
Blue.
new first time people playing Infinity again,
Yeah.
and blue steel was super popular and Ambersteel was super popular. Those two matchups were like dominant. Now we're at Richmond. There was Ambersteel was everywhere. Green purple was everywhere now. A lot
Yeah,
more
it
green
was.
purple players just playing
I
discard.
played one
And
mirror.
then yeah, I also played the mirror. And then there was also red blue. So because blue steel is very popular, red blue has come back up in popularity because red blue is so good into the blue steel matchup. And so you have this kind of resurgence of red blue. So that was like kind of what I would say is honestly, amber steel and red blue were probably the most popular. And then you had green, purple, and blue steel as like the second two. And then I saw a couple red purple decks here and there and some shenanigans, but mainly it was just amber steel, red, blue, green, purple, and blue steel was the
Blue
four
steel.
main decks
Yeah.
that I saw. And so that's really fun. But
I totally agree. It was in my matchups, they were all either amber steel, one mirror, one red blue, one blue steel, and yeah, one mirror, right? That's all. Yeah, that's all of them. So
yep, that was pretty
I
much my tournament.
yeah. Let's go through your matchups and
Yeah.
hear how they went. We'll
So my
get this.
first matchup, I started with Amber Steel songs. So it was not really aggro; it was just traditional songs. The new Aurora package. People are playing Aurora, and they can play Ariel, the Singer Ariel on turn 2,
1,
and
2.
they're also playing the big Ariel as well, and then as well as the Queen. Stuff like that. So it's kind of more mid rangey. You're playing a lot of songs. Let the Storm Rage on, Strength, Zeus, like 4 of all of those. A Whole New World. So you're already at like 16, and it's
Yeah.
just playing quite a bit of songs. So that was my first round. I 2-0'd Ambersteel song on the draw. That's a good matchup. That's even easier than aggro. That's probably our easiest
Yeah.
matchup.
Yeah.
You just want a mulligan for Ursula Crab. And any of the Ambersteel matchups, all you're mulliganing is for 2-drop Ursula and then the Crab. If you just go turn 2 Ursula, snipe their song, then play Crab after they exert something, and your Ursula takes out something, the game's pretty much over.
Yeah.
You just get to 2-for-1 them into oblivion, and and then
It's
discard
good.
their remaining like draw spells. You never let their Rapunzel get value, and then you discard their Rapunzel out of their hand, and they have a really hard time winning because they're never getting off a Whole New World 90% of the time.
Yeah, and if they do,
So
it's the death of them.
yeah, it's not very good.
Yeah.
So that's like the game plan. You don't even care about like Prince John or Diablo. Like they come in and they can actually do good work against those decks, but you're just looking for Ursula and Crab into the Ambersteel matchup. So
Yeah.
then round 2, I played against Red Blue Shark on the draw.
Mhm.
And this was more of like a traditional shark deck. It was kind of like the DKP version that's
Mhm.
still around. People are still playing shark instead of items.
Yeah.
The items deck is significantly more powerful, but Infinity is Infinity. That's the cool thing about an Eternal format, coming from other games in the past. People are gonna play what they love. So like you can't just discount decks. Like Ambersteel aggro is always going to be there because people love that deck, and it's what they love, and it's powerful. It's one of the best decks in
I feel like
Infinity
it's healthy for an Infinity format to be,
for sure.
play what you play best at,
Yep,
you know what I mean? And what
exactly,
you're most comfortable with, because, like, I feel like everyone has a chance if you can outskill people in this format. It's not just, "Oh, you got it. Oh, I lost." It's like,
for sure.
you can always come
100%.
back, I feel like sometimes.
Yeah, and that's how I felt with the Infinity, to be honest, that's really how it feels. I was on the draw 5 out of the 7 rounds, and, you're just always in it. It just doesn't matter that much. With all the comeback cards that we have, with Merlin Crab, we have you can play Fox if you want to. We don't talk about Bruno, Friends on the Other Side for our deck specifically. There's just so many ways you can come back into the game and like create card advantage and then answer things on the draw, which is really good for format. But yeah, I played against Red Blue Shark. That one's one of the easier matchups for us. They do not have a ton of card draw. Um, they usually just play 4 Pop and 4 Haram, usually. Sometimes they play Tala. The person that I played against was playing Cinderella, which was really cool. I don't hate, like, turn 4 Shark is pretty cool. Instead of having to hit Grandma Tala into how far I'll go and play turn 5 Shark, you can just
Play
play,
Cindy.
Cindy, and you hit turn 4 Shark, which is really cool. But that matchup's not too bad. We have a ton of shark ants. Like we have wrong lever. You have hidden. Not. We have wrong lever, and we don't talk about Bruno. And you also have, like, the discard package is just so good against that deck. So
Yeah.
unless they hit Haram early, and even if they do hit Haram, they're not usually activating him twice a game because they only play for like 4 popsicle usually, and they're just playing mana and be prepared. And so you just kind of look for Ursula as in later on in the game to take out a B prep, and you just kind of discard them with Prince John. And
Yeah.
usually, most of the time, your Diablo actually goes unchecked in this matchup because they're really just trying to play like B preps and sharks and manners. And they don't. Sometimes they play less brawls, and they have way less. They just have way
Yeah.
less Diablo answers. So that was kind of how my matchup versus my opponent went. I just kind of resolved Diablo and Prince John early and discarded their hand, and the game was kind of it. Like, that
Yeah.
was not super close matchup, unfortunately, and like that matchup was just not that bad.
Yeah.
Round 3, I started. It was Ambersteel aggro, my first opponent, my first that was Ambersteel aggro. So I always expect a ton of that, and I hadn't played against it yet. So round 3, I played against Ambersteel aggro on the draw, and same thing earlier as the Steel Song deck. All the Ambersteel deck is just all the Ambersteel decks kind of go the same. You mulligan for Ursula and a Crab, and if you have that, it's really hard to find yourself in a losing position, and chip as well. Uh, yeah, just like doing the 2-for-1s. Ursula sniping a song, Crab boost, kill a Daisy, then your Crab kills a Nala, and then you chip something, and the chip takes out one of their cards, and then your chip trades for a Smee. Like, you just 2-for-1 them the entire time, and then they're just gonna run out of steam.
Yeah.
It's just not big a deal. So like, it's also, especially if you see, like, if you play Green Diablo on turn 1 and you have the Diablo shift and you don't have the Ursula and you see that they have a song, just don't play into it. You
Yeah,
can,
just don't.
at some point, that Diablo is going to become relevant in that matchup. And so if you can keep yourself higher on cards, that's good. So especially if you can draw into like discard or draw into an Ursula and take that song and then shift the Diablo, that helps a lot.
Mhm.
And now that we have Cheshire Cat, that card came up so much in all my Ambersteel
Yeah.
matchups.
Yeah.
And once you get to 5 ink and you have Elsa and Cheshire Cat, it's just really hard for
So over.
the aggro deck to win. Like, they're playing Nalas now. They're just playing so many ways to get punished by a Cheshire Cat. Like,
Yeah.
so that was really tough. That one actually, that player was actually playing Rhino, which a lot of players have cut. And so that player was playing Rhino, and that was actually really, like, Cheshire
Tough.
Cat ended up being phenomenal
Yeah.
because
Oh,
I was able
dude.
to
Yeah,
move
yeah.
damage onto the the Rhino,
The
and then
Rhino.
finish off the Rhino with like an Ursula or something,
Yeah.
and now it didn't have resist, which was fantastic,
Yeah,
which
for
is
sure.
crazy. And so that came up, but yeah, that matchup's pretty simple. You just want to hit your curve. You're not even really mulliganing for Diablo shift or for like Prince Johns and stuff. You're honestly just mulliganing for Ursula and Crab and then a curve. Like, and
Yeah.
chip is probably the best 4-drop. Genie's fine, but like chip is definitely the best 4-drop. And then you're just playing you wipe their board at some point.
Yeah.
That matchup, you do have to be careful about Vinny. So that is a card that they will play, and they will try to go wide enough and then jam a Vinny and then turn their stuff sideways. Luckily,
Yeah.
we do have quite a bit of answers for that. We have like Elsa, so we can tap the Vinny and kill the Vinny and then challenge the rest of the characters. Or you
Yeah.
have we don't talk about Bruno. And so like you have a good amount of
Or
stuff.
lever, even
Yeah.
lever
Or a
can,
lever, yeah. So you have
yeah,
Elsa, you have leather, we don't talk about Bruno. You can really punish them. And
get
like
rid of it. Yeah.
it's fine to bounce Vinny. So, like, they turn their stuff side, just bounce the Vinny, and then
Yeah.
wipe their board. Like, even if you don't have a pull the lever in the discard, just bouncing Vinny works perfectly fine.
Yeah.
And so that's how that went. Round 4, I played against the mirror. It wasn't a 60 card mirror. My opponent had foxes and a lot more Peter Pans. It was more like a traditional infinity list, like more set 8. My opponent did not have Cheshire Cat, and I did. And that made a huge difference. And so I don't know if my opponent wasn't playing Cheshire Cat in their list, but they never played it in that match. And
Mhm.
I played it twice, which was just game over. So like
Yeah.
Peter Pan is really good in that matchup. And Cheshire Cat was really good. Because just answering your opponent's Diablos is really important in that matchup, and you're just trying to get more cards than them. It's kind of a trade back and forth type of match until someone just like pulls ahead and blows you out. Like you're both looking for Diablo, you're both looking for Prince John, you're both looking for Elsa's, because whoever establishes that first like breakthrough and draws 2 or 3 more cards, then you're just kind of on easy mode at that point because you can just start
Yeah,
jamming cards to the board. It
for
comes down to
sure.
top deck mode quite a bit because it's so easy to answer Diablos in this deck. We have so many evasives on both sides of the board, and so it's just really easy to answer. And Cheshire Cat just kind of ends the top deck wars because it's super easy to just kill everything with Cheshire Cat. So you're just
Yeah.
top decking a lot of bad air. That matchup kind of went that way. I had Cheshire Cats, and I had a Cheshire Cat in my list, and I found it in both games that I won, and it was just about who drew more Diablos. Like the game that my opponent won, he drew 3 Diablos and just played them back to back to back, and I was like, oh, I'm dead. Like
Yeah.
I just haven't, and I only had 1 Diablo,
Yeah.
and so I just draw enough cards. That matchup is pretty fun though sometimes, especially uh, the discard comes up and you're not really looking for Ursula in that matchup because both players are good enough to just like make sure you ink your songs away.
Yeah.
And you're looking for 2-drop Diablo because that answers your opponent Diablo on the draw. So then round 5, I played against my first red blue items opponent, and that was really close.
This is
That
a tough
game
one, yeah.
it is that one's more tough than blue steel. Like blue steel matchup got a little worse, but honestly, I think we're still a little favored because they just don't have as quick of a clock and as good of answers because they don't have a
Yeah.
board wipe.
Yeah.
But with red blue, if they're on a really high density of Sisus, can be a tough matchup. And they also are playing Ink Runner now.
Yeah.
So the red blue decks also got Ink Runner, and so they have the baby Sisu that they can play like Coil turn 2, Sisu turn 3, and then they can take out something like our Diablo, and then they also have the Shift Sisu. So depending on how many Shift Sisus they're playing, lots of people are playing 3 and 3, some are playing 4 and 3. You just never know. So the more Sisus they play, the harder that matchup is, and you really have to get them on the discard.
Yeah.
The Diablo is super important in that matchup, and Prince John is super important in that matchup. And it's kind of similar to Blue Steel that you want to tempo them out, but it's way more difficult because they have creature-based removal instead of song-based removal.
Yeah.
And the Sisu, they also have a board wipe, so it's so much harder to race them. We do want to race them and like discard their hand, get our Diablo engine going, and then just like kind of quest out till the end. But it can be tough if your opponent just has enough card draw to grind through, and red blue does a lot better than blue steel in that regard.
Yeah.
And they
The
have
items.
Sisu. So
Yeah.
like 8-drop Sisu is really tough for our deck if they can get to it fast and insulate their hand. So your game plan is kind of develop a card advantage engine and put them on the back foot. And then when they start, they have to insulate their hand. So if they don't see Haram, those are the games that you really need to have the discard. So if they don't see Haram on turn 3 with their ramp or turn 4, make sure they have to insulate their hand so that your turn 6 turns before they get to 7 or 8 ink, before their 8 ink turn, you can discard their Sisu in their hand.
Yeah.
This gets a lot harder if they have Haram, obviously, because they can discard their hand.
Mhm.
But yeah, so that matchup, just trying to build up your hand, get an unanswered Diablo maybe, but you're really just looking for Prince John. It's very important. And so,
Yeah.
but yeah, that well, the one game I lost in that matchup, he just double CC'd me back to back with a turn 3 Haram on the play. So he just
Yeah.
went like Popsicle, Sail, Haram, draw 2. And I didn't have a Diablo that game, and I had Prince John at a bunch of discard, but he was able to have like 4 cards in his hand before the Sisu turn. So I couldn't get
Mhm.
his hand low enough. And so that's
Yeah.
really tough. And Haram in the red blue Ibis matchup is a lot more difficult than the red blue shark matchup because they have so many items where the shark deck doesn't. So if they stick a
Yeah.
Haram, they're usually drawing 4 to 6 cards in 2 turns
And they're
versus.
playing the crab that gets the items back
Yep.
to hand so they can keep
Mm-hmm.
recycling. So
Yep.
it's just not like
Yeah,
they're getting even
it's a
more
lot.
value off the Hirams with
Yep.
like more support in those decks. So
Yeah, so
uh,
make sure you save your discard until they have 1 to 2 cards in hand to really put pressure on them. And obviously, if you have Prince John on turn 3 and you need to play Sudden Chill and start getting through your deck, that's good. But if you can do that and then hold a couple so you can really pressure your opponent, that helps a lot. And then just try to out-tempo them while they're looking for a board wipe, while they're trying to control your board, try to be just like questing out and gaining more tempo. So when they start to do that, then you just discard their hand.
I found the ways that like I've only played one red blue and my hands were absolutely impossible to play. But like, I found that, even if they did hit the first Sisu, they didn't have any cards in hand after
Yep.
the Sisu, so, like, if you could deal with it at that point and still have a hand, you basically just snowball into you trickling through and getting
Yeah.
from, like, 12 to 20, through the next card draws and just
Yep.
outdrawing them, but yeah.
And this is that matchup where Dumbo becomes a big deal. Dumbo's a
Yes.
3/3, Chip is a 3/2, Crab is a 3/3. So like sometimes you don't want to play these cards because like they're not that good like Crab or Cheshire Cat. But just playing them out before the Sisu really helps so you can keep going. Um, so just kind of play to the board, make sure you and like really try to pressure them so you can start questing and going wide before they CC you and you can pressure their hand. And Dumbo helps a ton because you can insulate your hand with your evasives before they CC, and then also they have to find a Sapphire Coal before they CC you,
Yeah,
which doesn't always happen. So just
and if they
that's
play
really the game plan. You just
yeah, if
want.
they play coil on 2, then they're not ramping, so they're not
Yep,
getting the
and that helps
Sisu
a
quick
lot.
enough. So
Yeah.
that's there's a
And
trade-off.
and Elsa's really good in this matchup as well because you do want to be able to tap their Sisu before their
Yeah,
1/1
shit.
Sisu. Their 3-drop Sisu, you want to be able to kill their 3-drop Sisu so they cannot shift Sisu, which
Mhm,
can be backbreaking, but it's usually not too bad. Usually you can deal with that before.
mhm.
Um, but yeah, so that's kind of how that matchup goes. And then round 6, I played against Ambersteel Aggro, and this time I was on the play, and I played against World's Class Cards Patrick. So that was a really fun matchup. He was on Ambersteel Aggro as well, but he was playing a lot of Vinnies. Every game he saw 2 Vinnies against me, so I think he was playing at least 3. He just saw it a lot, which I think is good right now. I was actually surprised, but it actually is. That is one of the one way that our deck can get pigeonholed is really if they can go wide and they can slam that Vinny and then turn sideways. So now they're gaining lore every time we do that. So
Yeah,
because it's very easy for us to match their board because we have Crab and Chip and Cheshire Cat now and Elsa. But if they can get a Vinny on board, so you really do want to look for those wrong levers and Elsas and stuff. We really want to save those now too, maybe if you can, because Vinny is getting popular and as well with like the red blue items deck and Sisu becoming super popular, you just need they're gonna start playing more Vinnies, I think, and
mhm.
it really helps. So That matchup was super fun. This matchup was where Cat pulled the most weight in our last game. I activated Cat 5 turns in a row and had just he was top decking and he just played a Nala, and then I ended up taking out 2 of his really big rhinos with 2 of my Elsas, and so I had 4 damage on both
Oh
Elsas.
my
And
gosh.
so I had my Cheshire Cat and I was just like setting it up, and he played a Nala, and he was at like 17, I think. He played a
Yeah.
Nala, and so I boosted and killed it. And then he top decked a Piglet, and so I boosted and killed it. And then he top decked a Penny, and I boosted and killed it. It was rough. It
Yeah.
was brutal. This Cheshire Cat is just, yeah, that card is probably, yeah. It's a 3/4. It's overcosted. It's inkable, and it does something every turn. It's probably gonna get the Banhammer in A format at some point. But yeah, so that was really tough. Just had to keep myself on my toes, and you just really got to go Ursula Crab. If you do that, you're in a great shape for that matchup, and then start like questing with your Diablos and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Especially if you can go Ursula and shift the Diablo on turn 2, the game usually ends because they give you so many cards. Their best openings give you a bunch of cards. If they're on the play, they try to like Daisy you, just really rough because Daisy just fills our hand with cards.
Hmm.
And the more cards we have, the easier it is to
To
like
win.
find your
Yeah.
crabs, find your Elsas, find your chips, and those are all just like really heavy hitters against the Ambersteel deck. And round 7, I played against Red Blue items again on the Brawl.
And do you
Uh,
remember who your opponent was for that round?
I don't really
No.
remember.
Yeah.
I only really knew my one opponent. But he opened up turn 3 Haram on the play, and I had a Diablo, and that matchup goes really rough if they decide to play through it, if they
Yeah.
have a ton of Sisus in their deck. And so my discard plan, obviously I discard my hand, I opened up with a Diablo. I had like 16, 17 cards in my hand when I conceded. Like, I just moved on to the next game. That matchup doesn't really go that long once someone's like developed their win condition.
Hmm.
And so once that happened, I got rid of one of his Sisus. Then I was able to like see his hand with a 1-drop Diablo, and he had 2 more big Sisus in his hand, and I just couldn't win from there because like
Yeah.
you're just gonna back-to-back Sisu with me, even with so many cards in hand. It's just too hard to win, especially when and like you don't have any hard removal for their 8-drop Sisu. And you just like it's just too hard to get out from under that. So then game 2 and 3, being on the play, being able like I opened 7 and I just kept. My hand was ridiculous. I
Yeah.
had turn 2 Diablo shift in Hidden Cove into Prince John with Sudden Chill. Just
Yeah.
ended up drawing a ton of discard that game and just like ended the game, especially with Diablo in the Hidden Cove. Like
Hmm.
just can't get brawled. Game 3 was kind of similar where I had Game 3 was awkward. I had Diablo and the 1-drop in my hand, but I didn't draw an action. And it was kind of a really nasty game where we were both setting it up. He didn't draw Haram, I didn't draw Diablo, and so we both kind of were just like playing to the board. He didn't have very many cards in his hand. Because he played Tipo, and then he was trying to insulate his hand. And then I ended up having 3 Prince Johns on the board, and I finally got Diablos on the board sideways, and so I drew on his turn 2 Sudden Chills, and so then he only had 2 cards in hand. I discarded the last 2 cards in his hand and drew 6 cards. It
Oh
just
my
was rough.
God.
So when your
Oh
opponent
my.
only has 6 ink, 0 cards, 0 board, and you have like 18 cards in hand, it's just game over. It's just
Yeah.
rough. But
That's crazy. That's
but yeah,
crazy.
so I played against 3 Ambersteel decks, 3 red blue decks, and 1 mirror, which I think is actually a pretty good indicator of the format. Lots of people are on Ambersteel aggro, and there's a lot more red blue now in response to like the
To the
previous
blue
meta that
steel.
everybody was playing blue steel, so
Yeah.
everybody is trying to beat blue steel, and red blue does a very good job of that. So, but we're still just trying to play our same game plan, and the deck feels good,
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
good.
I mean, back to back, man. 2
14 and 0.
7-0s, guys. This is
14
an
and 0.
the next Infinity DLC winner right here, guys. He's killing it. He's
Don't
killing
jinx
it.
me. We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see. He'd
We
definitely
got
be performing well.
Yeah, we got 2 more sets as well, which I'm super stoked about.
Yeah.
Um, some cards that, like, we would want to see as the green-purple player, we probably want more items cards.
Hmm.
So, our Ambersteel matchup's pretty good. Our red-purple matchup is pretty good. Um, honestly, any matchup that doesn't have Sisu is really good.
Mhm.
Like, we just outgrind people, we have evasives, you have crabs, you just have this discard plan. You're kind of good into most decks.
Yeah.
Um, the decks that we struggle against are the Sisu decks, Blue Steel with Ink Runner, depending on if they get their really, really good starts. Otherwise, the discard plan still works very well against them. So we want something that can really help us against like keep like some tempo cards that can keep our items players at bay because they get to play free Bell, they get to free Scooge, they get to play Haram, which draws like a billion
Yeah.
cards, and then to insulate their hand, and they also have Ink Runner, and they have Mushu's Rocket. Like their deck just does everything all the time for
Yeah.
free, so all their cards are free and all their cards do a million things. So we're kind of looking for like a item cards. So if you see any like songs that come out that maybe banish items and draw cards in green,
Mhm.
we're probably looking for in our deck over the next 2
Yeah.
sets. Anything that can shore up our like our items matchups. It's not bad. Like I played against Red Blue 3 times and I beat it all 3 times. Like your deck's way more consistent than their deck still.
Yeah.
So like they have lines that are really hard for you to beat, but your deck's much more consistent than them. Like, they only have 4 popsicles. We've got 8 Diablos. And
Yeah.
we've got 3 different draw engines. They have, like, 1.
Yeah.
Because Workshop's not good against our deck. Like, it's way too slow, and if they
Mhm.
just take turns off to play a bunch of items every turn, they're just gonna get out-tempoed. You have to play to the board against our deck to beat us, so they can play Sisu and insulate their hand.
Yeah.
So, set 11, set 12, just look for a character also, maybe like a 2-drop or something that banishes an item on entering would also be very good in our deck. We could probably
Mhm.
take out a couple 2-drop Diablos and play something like that. So, like, when you're on the draw, you can banish a Popsicle before they play Haram, or you can banish a Sapphire Coil before they play Sisu 3-drop. Something like that to interact with their their board. Because right
Yeah.
now, no deck really has any interaction for the items decks. Uh, so
And
we're kind of
Ursula's
looking
just a
for something
dead
like that.
card, honestly, against that matchup. Like
Yeah,
he's just like they don't have any songs. Most of them aren't playing B prep. They're all just
yeah,
on maxi Sues or 3-2 or whatever
yep,
the what they're
yeah.
playing.
Or any like evasive character maybe that maybe has a little bit more like buffering, like 3 power or something like that. Basically anything you're just trying to insulate yourself, maybe that or a discard character card. That would be something really cool if like an Ursula but hits like characters or something like that. So
Yeah.
you could take a pesky character out of your opponent's hand. If we're kind of looking for something like that in green or in purple or something really that can interact with our opponent's item build. So those are the things to be on the lookout in set 11 and set 12 that can kind of shore up the matchups that are a little more tricky. Like they're still good if you see all the right cards and you're really consistent, but those are type of cards we're kind of looking for. Like anything that's like more discard and can get our opponent off board.
Do you think
Because
we'll
otherwise,
ever
all the
get
other matchups, you're so favored against Ambersteel. We don't really need it. There's still even more tools out there that we could we could put 4 Cheshire Cats in our deck if we wanted to. If you
mm,
really felt like you needed to.
might
I don't.
it might
I
happen
don't
though.
know about that. I think Crab's still better than Cheshire Cat, but you
Yeah.
never know.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we're looking for. Maybe an Ursula for characters would be cool. A song that destroyed an item and drew a card. If you really want to play that, you can play It Calls the Heart or something. It's from like set 2 or something.
Oh
It's a 2-ink
yeah. Yeah.
song that banishes an item in green.
Yeah. It's got
We're kind of looking for
caramel on it.
someone like that, but draws a card or a character that does that.
Mhm.
Just something to get on the board and you can sing, or also just like more discard. That could
Yeah.
help too. Like a
Well,
Dad
we have the
Blast
owl,
in
the,
green.
Archimedes green owl that comes
We
in,
do
but
have
that's
that.
on the draw, it's not gonna work.
Yeah, turn 3
They'll
is
get
just
it off.
tough. But
Yeah.
yeah, so we want something that's 2 or honestly just a song. A song would be really good that we could also then add muses into our deck. and that would be a real thing.
Hmm.
If we get a couple more good songs, they don't even have to be item songs, just a couple of songs that fit in our, like,
Play
type
style.
of play style
Yeah.
that, we could add muses to our deck, which also helps the aggro matchup, but would really help, uh, be able to bounce Haram, sing something, bounce Haram, bounce Sisu the 1/1. Uh, it actually does come up a lot where, like, if they're behind, then that can be, like, a real thing.
Mhm.
And, you can just bounce their stuff and whatever. Also, if that happens, you can actually, play Max Goof and Muses as well. If we get some really more powerful songs, we can go more song-based at the top end, and we can play Max, Goof and Sisu, and then you can set up that a loop where, like, you play a song and Muses bounces the Max Goof, and then you play Max Goof and get that song back, and then it's just, like,
Yeah.
endless cycle.
Reset. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
crazy. That would
Yeah.
be nuts.
So any more songs that would help with that would be good. Should be on the lookout for powerful purple and green songs that might do something for the matchups that
Well,
we're looking for.
we got one purple song that's probably gonna make it, the
Yeah,
Pocahontas song.
that
I
card's
mean,
really cool. I'm
yeah.
excited for that card. But
So
yeah,
that's pretty good.
it's a really good time. Infinity's great. Everybody should play Infinity all the time, which I expect more. A lot of people, we're already seeing chatter already. People are starting to play Infinity because
Yeah.
the NA doesn't have any more DLCs that are core. The next DLC is Infinity, so people are already starting to jam Infinity right now, which is really good. But yeah, for sure. Green purple, man. It's a good time.
Back to back, man. 2 in a row. I still can't believe it, man. You
Crab,
really do.
man.
You
My
killing it.
boy.
You're killing it.
My
There there
boy.
he is.
This
The
is
killer.
oh yeah, seriously. I mean, this is probably one of my favorite cards to play
Yeah.
in the entirety of Lorcana.
Yeah.
I really miss that card.
But I appreciate you coming out. This was a good time. We always have a good time,
For
and
sure.
the green purple gang is strong as can be right now, man. It's a fun deck. I can't wait for it to evolve through the next 2 sets, and hopefully we can make some business in the next DLC with it. So
Yeah. We'll be
um, I
there.
I appreciate y'all looking us up on our channel. Follow us, subscribe to us. We would
Yep.
really appreciate it. Follow us all on X. There's the whole team's on X. We yap a lot. Some of us yap a lot, but we yap a lot. But shout out to our sponsor, Mattified. They their mats are beautiful. Go check them out.
They're at all the
Other than that,
CCS events all the
yeah,
time.
they'll be at the next CCS
Go
in
hit up
Houston, I believe.
Matified.
Yeah, they're
If you have any questions too, I saw some people kind of post on X when I post my list. You can always post. You can find me there and message me as well. I'm always down to talk about Infinity. If anybody has any questions they want to, like, go deeper, you can always just message me and ask me my thoughts. I'm always
yeah.
open to talk about it.
Garrett's a good dude. He knows he knows these colors. He knows them. He knows them. He lives with them. But we appreciate all the support, y'all. And till next time, y'all have a good one. Peace.